Welcome back, dear children. So in the last video we have discussed about density, isn't it? Now, what is the importance of density? Why are we calculating density? Do you know what is the reason? We have learned about density, how it is measured, its unit, all these things, isn't it? Now, the next thing is, why is density important? Okay, what is the importance of density? Now, while constructing bridges, flyovers and all, usually engineers or architects will check the density table. Density table means in that the densities of different substances will be given. So they will be checking the density table. From there they will get the density of that particular material. Now, from the plan they will get the volume. Once the density and volume are known, what can be calculated there? Density into volume will give the mass, isn't it? So mass will be obtained from that, and if mass is known, we can calculate the weight. How will you get weight from mass? Weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, isn't it? W is equal to mg. So we will be getting the weight from that, and based on that weight obtained, they can calculate the strength of the pillars and all. Strength of the pillar, foundation, all these things will be calculated on the basis of this. Okay, so that is one important use of calculating or knowing the density. Clear? So once again, first, when we are constructing huge buildings or flyovers or bridges, what the engineers or architects will do, they will check the density table. So from the density table they will get the density. Density, its letter is not D, it is rho. Okay, so they will get the density. Once density is known, from the plan of the structure they will get the volume. Then from density and volume, density into volume will give the mass. Now, mass into acceleration due to gravity, mg, will give you the weight, and this helps to calculate the strength required for the pillars, foundations, etc. So this is one use of the, or one importance of, an importance of density is while constructing the buildings or flyovers. Now, another one about the purity of milk. Lactometer is used in order to measure the purity of milk, and it also works under the principle of density. Okay, based on density we will be checking the purity of milk. Now another one is to learn about the law of flotation, that you will learn later. So to learn about flotation or sinking, we depend on density. Okay, so I told you three important points. That is, what is the importance of density? First one, to calculate the strength of the pillars or foundation. Then to measure the, or to find the purity of milk. The third one is to consider about or to learn about flotation or sinking. Clear? Now, the next thing is to compare the densities of the three states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. How can you compare it? Already we learned that density means it is the what? How much closely the particles are packed in a substance. That is density. So when you are considering solids, liquids and gases, which one will be having maximum density? Maximum density will be there for the solids, isn't it? So solids, then we will be having liquids, and last, that is density will be least for gases. What is the reason? Because when you are considering a solid substance, the particles are so closely packed. So the number of particles present per unit volume is more in solids than liquids or gases. So you can say that density will be maximum for solids, then little bit less in the case of liquids, and it is least for gases. Okay. So that is another important thing what you should remember. We can compare the densities of solids, liquids and gases. Density is maximum for solids, and what is the reason? Here the particles are so closely packed. Now, already we learned that all the substances expands on heating and contracts on cooling, isn't it? So when you are heating a substance, it expands, and when you are cooling a substance, it contracts. And can you tell me which object will be showing more contraction? Is it solids? No. In the case of solids, the density is so high. So when you are increasing the temperature, the particles in solid is so tightly packed. So the expansion or contraction shown by a solid is very minimum. Okay, because the particles are so tightly packed, many more particles are present per unit volume. So when you are considering or when you are heating a substance, its contraction or expansion will be less if it is a solid. And in which case contraction or expansion will be more? It will be more in the case of gases, because in gases the particles are so loosely packed, that is its density is less. Okay, so that the molecules are free to move apart. So you can easily compress a gas, and you can do it with liquids also, but there will be, or in the case of solids, for expansion or contraction, it will be different. So hope it is clear for you. We have discussed two different features. First one is about the density. Density is maximum for solids, then minimum for gases. When you are considering the expansion or contraction, expansion is maximum in the case of gases. Expansion or contraction is maximum in the case of gases, and it is minimum in the case of solids. And in between I told you about the compressibility also. Okay, that is another feature. So since the interparticle force is more in the case of solids, it cannot be compressed easily. But in the case of gases, it can be compressed easily. Okay, so hope it is clear for you. Now comes about the measurement of density. Last year you have already learned about the measurement of density. So first thing is about the measurement of density of regular shaped objects. Do you remember? How will you calculate density? For density, our equation is density is equal to mass by volume. If you are considering a regular shaped object, it is very easy to calculate its density. First thing, measure the mass using which equipment is used in order to measure mass of a substance? Usually it is physical balance or beam balance. Okay. So using a physical balance or beam balance, you have to measure the mass of the body. So you will get the mass. Then if you are considering a regular shaped object, we will be having equations to calculate the volume, isn't it? So when you are considering a cube or a cuboid, we are having equations, length into breadth into height, or side into side into side will give you the volume. So we are having fixed equations in order to calculate volume of regular shaped objects. So using that you can calculate the volume. Using a physical balance you can calculate the mass, and mass by volume will give you the density. That is in the case of regular shaped objects. If you are considering irregular shaped bodies, how will you calculate the density? So last year you have discussed or learned about calculating the density of irregular shaped bodies using a measuring cylinder. I think you remember that. It's a very simple experiment. That is, we will be taking a measuring cylinder. Then you will be taking some water in it, and we will note the level of water. in the measuring cylinder. What is the specialty of a measuring cylinder? A calibrated vessel is considered as a measuring cylinder, isn't it? In that calibrations, that is markings are there. So you will get the volume directly from it. So first you will be taking a measuring cylinder, take some water in it, note the level of water, let it be V1. Now suppose we have to measure the density of a stone. A stone is an irregular shaped object. So tie the stone with a string. Okay, tie the stone with a string and then immerse it into the measuring cylinder. So when you immerse the stone, what happens to the level of water present inside the measuring cylinder? It increases, isn't it? Then we will note the new level of water, that is V2. Now V2 minus V1 will give you the volume of the irregular shaped body. Then using a physical balance, we already calculated the mass. Mass by volume will give you the density. So these are the two things which you learned last year. Now we are going to discuss another method in order to calculate density. It is using a Eureka can. Have you heard about a Eureka can? Eureka can means it is a small beaker with a small opening on one side. That is known as a Eureka can. Now we will check how density of an irregular shaped body can be measured using a Eureka can. If they didn't specify using a Eureka can, you can write this experiment, which is very simple. If it is asked in the question to write the way in which density of an irregular shaped body is measured using a Eureka can, you should write the experiment what I am going to say. Okay, so we will move to that experiment now. Okay, this will be the Eureka can. I told you a small beaker with an opening on one end. That is known as Eureka can. So you can take a Eureka can. Now near the opening of the Eureka can, you should keep a calibrated vessel. Okay, it can be a measuring cylinder or any calibrated. That means marking should be there on that vessel. Then usually mass of an object is calculated using or measured using a physical balance, and weight of an object is measured using a spring balance. Okay, so that is what we have learned. Mass is measured using a physical balance or a beam balance, and weight is measured using a spring balance. Okay, now in this experiment we are using a spring balance, and here we will be considering it as mass itself. Okay, actually few more calculations should come there. Now we are not going in detail about that. Okay, but this concept should not go out of your head. Mass using physical balance, weight using spring balance. But in the textbook, in this activity given in the textbook, we are using a spring balance. Okay, so when it comes with the Archimedes principle and all, usually we will be using the spring balance to do the experiment, and there will be considering it as mass. There you can change it to, you will be getting weight there and you can change it to mass. But now we are not going in detail about that. We will just consider what is done here. Okay, so I have the Eureka can and a calibrated vessel placed closer to it. Now we have a stone. Okay, and we are asked to measure the density of the stone using the Eureka can. So first, in order to get density, we need mass and volume. Okay, so first measure the mass of the object. In the textbook it is given that measure the mass of the object using a spring balance. You will get the mass of the object using a spring balance, but there's few other things has to be done. It is not explained there, so don't go in detail. Clear? So since you will be confused with that, I informed. So keep this in mind. So the first thing is you have to measure the mass of the stone either using a physical balance or a spring balance. We will be measuring the mass of the stone. Let it be M. Now the next thing is, if it is measured using a physical balance, you can directly keep the stone on the pan and you will get the reading. If it is a spring balance, usually what we will do is, we will tie the stone with a string and then we will be measuring it using the spring balance. Okay. Then, once we got the mass, next thing is to calculate the volume. So, for that, what you will do? Tie the stone with a string and it will be connected to the spring balance, and next thing is, keep the spring balance with the stone, and first, before that, you should fill the Eureka can with water till its opening. Okay, so we have taken the Eureka can, fill the Eureka can with water. So when you take water till this part, it will remain here. Again, if you are pouring water, that water will come out or it spills out through this opening. Okay, so just completely fill the Eureka can with water, and once the the excess water spills out, just remove that water. It should be completely filled with water. After that only you should keep this measuring cylinder or the calibrated cylinder. Now the next thing is, just immerse the stone which is hanged on the spring balance into the Eureka can. So when you immerse it, okay, what happens? When a new object comes here, what happens to the level of water? Level of water increases, isn't it? Stone has certain volume. So when the stone is immersed into this, the stone, since it has volume, what happens? Volume of water which is equal to the volume of this solid will spill out. Okay, so volume of water which is equal to the volume of the stone will go out, and that water will come out through this opening of the Eureka can, and that will be collected in this calibrated vessel. Now it is calibrated or it is a measuring cylinder. So from that, what will you get? You will get the volume of the stone, because the stone displaced water which is equal to its volume. At first, the Eureka can was completely filled with water. When the stone is immersed on it, it displaces water which is equal to its volume. Okay, so that much water will be collected in this measuring cylinder, and from the measuring cylinder you will get the volume. Now mass and volume are ready. So with that, what can you calculate? You will get the density. Okay, so is it clear? We were discussing about the measurement of density. First one, how to measure density of regular shaped objects. For all the cases, we are using the equation density is equal to mass by volume. Mass is measured using a physical balance. Then if it is a regular shaped object, we have formula or equations to calculate volume. Using that, we will get the volume, and finally we can calculate the density. If it is an irregular shaped body, you can use the measuring cylinder. So there also mass will be obtained directly from the physical balance, or using a physical balance. To get the volume, we will be using the measuring jar. Then mass by volume will give you density. Now if it is Eureka can, what will you do? Using a spring balance, first we will measure the mass of the object. Then take a Eureka can, fill it completely with water. Near the opening, keep a measuring cylinder. Immerse the stone into the water. Water spills out, and that water is collected in the measuring cylinder. The volume of the water collected is same as the volume of the stone immersed. And from there we got the volume, and mass by volume is R. density. Okay, so I think it is clear for you. Usually for the exam, they won't ask you to write the experiment directly. Just questions will come from it. So you should be thorough with the experiment and you should be able to answer questions according to that. Okay, now you can take your textbook. So about the homework, you can take page number 24. Take page number 24 in your textbook. Section E, answer in brief. What is the SI unit of density? Kilogram per meter cube or kilogram meter raised to minus 3. What is the importance of density? I have discussed 3 uses of density that should be written as the answer there. Now, discuss the gradation of densities of solid, liquid and gas. That means what about the densities? You are just comparing the densities of solid, liquid and gas. And you can write the reason also. Density is maximum for solids because the particles are so tightly packed there. So, about each one, write a point. Okay, no need to write all the entire thing given in the textbook. Just write which is having more density and what is the reason. Okay. So, answer in brief question number 1, 2 and 3. Homework. Now, answer in detail. First question. Explain the process of determining the density of a solid using a Eureka can. So, since many experiments are coming, please write it. Okay, please write it in your book. Usually, I told you this experiment won't come directly for the exam. We'll be asking questions from that. So one time it is better to write in the notebook. So simply don't copy the entire thing given in the textbook. Write it as points. Okay. It's better if you write it as points. Simplify and write. No need to by heart the experiment. Okay. So I have given just 4 questions as homework. Question number 1, 2, 3 in section E. Section F it is, okay, not E. In section F, question number 1, 2 and 3. And from section G, question number 1. So write it, write neatly, and I don't want any late submission. Submit it before time. Study the topic. I'll be asking questions. Okay, so thank you children.